So welcome everyone. As I said before, we are focusing on understanding PMI-ACP, and I try to use as much possible the public informations which is available on the PMI website rather than talking about something from my presentation. I won't use presentation. I will only use the PMI website. And towards the later stage, I will show how we support you to get PMI-ACP certified. There I will use a little demo of our content, the content which we have for PMI-ACP. So first thing first, what is this PMI-ACP? So directly visiting the pmi.org will share the URL also with you so that you can also follow along with me. Let me show you. So we go to a site called pmi.org, and it's a specialized certificate. Yeah, that's an important element. So what means it's a special segment which will do the certification. It is not a generic certification like project management, program management. It's a one style of working because it's the agile style of working. So that's a little differentiator. They are saying it's a special topic based certification. So we click here, we can say, yes, I want to know this specialized certificate and more detail about it. So overall, from 1st of April, you have just one way of applying for it. Till now, there are two ways possible because if someone has done the preparation in the pre-update, they can still apply. So if you have done some courses before and you are thinking of applying for it, you have next 2-3 days. Yeah. After that, you must follow the 28 contact hours till 31st March. They still accept the 21 contact hours. Now, overall, what is needed? There are various details about the eligibility. First, let's focus on who should do PMI-ACP. Is it really a right thing to do? Before we talk about how to do it, we should focus on probably why to do it for me. Why varies. Not everyone have a same why. So what we are observing in our customer base since the November release has come, the people who are working in multiple ways of following Agile. There is no one possible direction which is appreciated. The organization expects to follow agility, but not a one framework. They are the one who are asking their employees to go for PMI-ACP certificate. The another trend which we are seeing it is many organizations, when they are hiring onboarding people from service organizations. So say X service organization want to put people on billing on to some clients. The clients are insisting for PMI-ACP with one more reason. First, they want to have a generic understanding of Agile to their project managers and Scrum Master rather than specific like a Scrum certification. The second is they feel at least we need to have some rigor which ensures the person is just not attended 2 days class and got certified. So say it's been many years since people were doing 2 days CSM and still recruiter were appreciating it. But since the market is becoming a little competitive, the organization saying we want to see something where you have proved yourself in a proper exam rather than something which you gave from open browser setup. So actually there is not many candidate when it talks to proper exam based agile testing. PMI-ACP comes as a one of the upper one, and that's why some of the clients are asking their vendors to share those individuals profile who have a PMI-ACP certification. The third thing which we are seeing is that individuals who want to get into multiple agile roles. I don't want to stick to Scrum Master. I may do project management using Agile. I may do some amount of product owner's responsibility. I have a mix of responsibility. Now, it may look like in many Agile companies that may be a disliked thing, but in many organizations, they are actually looking for individuals who can do multiple roles. And the PMI-ACP certificate comes as a generic one, which helps them in saying, I can do Scrum Master, product owner, some amount of it. I can also do a project management because I understand generic Agile. So these are 3-4 types of people which we see coming for PMI-ACP related certification. If your profile is somewhere around this, then probably you should consider doing PMI-ACP. If you are not clear after my explanation, you can ask me a query about your profile. So probably we can judge together, but this is what we see in the organizations happening. Now, I'm not going with the percentage and surveys and all. So I know these things varies and it depends upon in which country, what time they did it. They looks nice. But what I'm sharing is based on my experience with our clients. Yeah. Any questions about should I do PMI-ACP before I do talk about am I eligible for it and what kind of content will come in the exam? You can just speak or raise hands so I know that you want to speak. Yeah. If not, anyway, I will take a pause and move forward.
Hi,
So,
Saket.
Go
yeah,
ahead, please. Yeah.
Hi, this is Balchandra here. Uh, Earlier, I have attended one Agile related course
Great. Thank you.
earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice to meet you after a long time again.
Great.
Yeah, I have one question. Like in the PMI ACP, was there any syllabus change recently?
Yes, yes, yes. So that's the next topic we are going. We will click this button, which is called exam content outline, and I will
Uh-huh.
talk about it is changed. The answer is yes. It got changed in November 2024. Since that, exam has changed as per the new syllabus, and that's why one of the participants shared it is becoming challenging also to clear the exam. So when you go to various social media platforms, abnormally compared to PMP, you see many people saying they could not make it in a PMI-ACP in a first attempt. In last 3 months, the social media interaction, if you track, the percentage of people who say I could not make in PMP is relatively very less, but the percentage of people who talk about can't make it in a PMI-ACP is relatively high. So there is a confusion going on, and that is something I will explain. Yeah, next topic. Good. Anything else?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, before I go to next topic, anyone else has a query related to applicability of PMI-ACP? Go ahead, please. Yeah, I see you unmuting.
yeah. I don't have any question on the applicability of PMI-ACP. Having said that, I would like to understand what certification has the edge in the market. Is that PMP or PMI-ACP? Number one.
Okay.
Number two, I see that, I mean, I heard you saying vendors are asking, clients are asking. Why they have to ask when people have started already agile way of working and they have smaller scrum teams and larger safe teams, and when it comes to project management again, why they can't be PMI ACP and why they have to be asked again?
So the second part, I don't know. That's a specific example. So we don't know what is the client mindset. Maybe the availability of people is high. But first part is clear to me. Yeah, first part I can explain the difference between PMP and PMI-ACP. And you can even think of why client will ask for PMP when the project management is already 50 years ago old. Yeah. So PMI is 50 plus year old organization. I did my PMP in 2006. Yeah. So it's been a while. Yeah. So why people are still asking for PMP? That could be a question as well. Maybe just to see that the attitude of people or individuals to focus on learning. So they use it as a filter criteria to judge if there is a person who is committed to learning. My personal opinion is certification alone does not create a very differentiator, but along with your experience, the overall fitment, certification brings little edge. That's the only thing. Sometimes if someone has a great experience without certification also, he will do great jobs and he will get far better money than certified individual. And there will be a certified individual who may not be able to make money because of lacking other areas. So it's just not a one silver bullet. There is a combination of factor. But yeah, that's how the clients probably see it. Now, coming to a easier question, yeah, this is just a generic one. If you don't agree, ignore it. Yeah, that's the thing. But PMP versus PMI-ACP, it's easy. PMP is the number one popular certificate when it comes to project manager's job. If someone is calling himself project manager and targeting a project management role, PMP is the desired certificate. You must do PMP. Yeah, that's a, I would say rather than must, it has a more visibility in the market. Yeah, that's for sure. Now, if you have already done PMP, mostly those people are doing PMI-ACP to get deeper into Agile, though there is no sequence like that. Yeah, that's the thing. When we do PMP, we do learn Agile, but it is at a surface level. We don't get into the details. When we do PMI-ACP, we are proving that we have a deeper understanding of Agile. So if someone wants to have that proof added in the profile, they will do the PMI-ACP certification. In our client base, maximum of PMP certified people are doing PMI-ACP initially. PMI target is if someone is not yet eligible for PMP, they are not doing project management, still they can do PMI-ACP because PMI-ACP has less eligibility requirement. You don't have to be a project manager to do a PMI-ACP. PMI-ACP can be done by the product owner, by the Agile team member, by properly saying, I am just a team member in the Agile. You can do PMI-ACP, can be done by the Scrum Master. Anyone who is working in the Agile environment, you can do PMI-ACP. PMP, as per the eligibility criteria, should be only done by the project managers. Good. Yeah. So hopefully we are done with the the applicability, and we can get into the details now. I am taking a final pause if someone has a query on applicability before we get into details.
Yes, sorry to come back with one more question. So you were saying if someone wants to pivot into project management, they have to go for PM.
That's a better transformational experience one will get in order to brand himself as a project manager, because PMP certification has a wide range. It talks about predictive, adaptive, budgeting, procurement, risk management in far in more detail, whereas a PMI ACP gets into agile ways of working alone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I get a different perspective from you. I've already spoken to someone who has done PMP, and when I told them that I'm a Scrum Master who's aspiring to getting into a project management role, and then they advised me to go for PMI ACP.
You
While
can understand their reasoning, but this is my opinion and this is my
okay,
advice, because I teach PMP. I taught PMP today as well, and I teach PMI ACP as well. So I have been doing it from last 14 years, both the programs.
okay,
Yeah. But again, you take the advice where you feel you are more connected to it. Maybe they know more about your profile. Definitely listen to them. Yeah. Ignore my one. But we do get 80% of our client who do PMP with us. They are certified Scrum Master and their role is currently Scrum Master, but they want to move to the project management. 80% of our clientele is from there. Yeah. Good. So, but we do similar session for PMP. I will invite the people who want to know more about PMP, come to the PMP session. We do the similar one there. Yeah. Good. So, anything else before I move? What is PMI ACP content outline? And in a way that will also clarify. Unfortunately, I'm not teaching PMP exam content outline today, but one can browse it on the same website, pmi.org, and make their own decision. Yeah. So, applicability. Now, before I go to exam content outline, little bit about eligibility, which is fairly very simple, but still I need to talk. So, if you are a PMP certified, you are eligible. That's it. You just need to do the 28 contact hours training. That's it. Yeah. So they have a two process of doing eligibility. First is that you need to demonstrate, till 31st March, 21 contact hours will also work. But afterwards, which is just after 3 days, you need to demonstrate 28 hours of agile education. If you enroll with PMI authorized education provider like us, we run PMI content based program, which educate you on all the exam content outline for 28 hours and you get qualified for that thing. If someone is PMP certified, you just need this, nothing else. You don't have to demonstrate any experience in the application. You just need to have agile education and you are ready for exam. If you are not PMP certified person, then they ask you need to demonstrate 2 years of agile experience in the last 5 years, which is also pretty simple. Yeah. They also give a one deviation, which you can find in the details, that if someone has done other agile certification 1 year ago, say CSM, PSM, Leading Safe, or KMP1 or anything else, then they can put that and that will reduce the eligibility criteria by 1 year. But actually, if someone has done Scrum Master certification 1 year ago, they can quickly just put a description for 2 years rather than talking about this is my certificate. But yeah, that is something acceptable by the PMI. So simple 2 years of experience, with the 28 contact hours. You fill it in your pmi.org account and you are eligible for PMI ACP certification. The experience should be into agile environment. It has nothing to do with project management. You might be doing a team member role in the agile environment, but you need to talk about your participation, your engagement in the agile ways of working. Whereas when we talk about PMP, the experience has to be leading the projects. It has to be a leadership role. It is not a participant role. So that's how the design is different. So if I'm leader, I go to PMP and maybe I want to develop a deep study, I come here. But PMI ACP is also open for any agile practitioner because that's the branding. It's a practitioner level certificate. Yeah. Okay. Anything else about the eligibility before I get into the content? Good with the eligibility? Yeah. Go ahead, please. Yeah. If you are speaking, Sandeep, I can't hear you. Yeah, if you are speaking, because I see you are unmuted, but I can't hear you.
So when we need to submit the application for the exam?
So ideally, as soon as you finish your class, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the
It's
20
an
content.
like one year we have the time, right?
Perfect. So once you finish your exam application, training, 28
Mm-hmm.
content hours,
Mm-hmm.
after that, you can fill the application whenever you want. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you fill the application and it get approved, from
Mm-hmm.
that point onwards, you have a 1 year time to give the exam.
Okay. And as I have the PMP certification, no need to update the projects and all like how we
Perfect.
are up.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
Only
when you
PMP
log
certification is not.
into PMI.org, the
Mm-hmm.
tab for experience will be disabled for you. Yeah.
Okay.
It will be only asking you to put the information. If you do a authorized training provider training like us, then
Mm-hmm.
even the 28 contact hours also get automatically updated. Yeah. So if you are a PMP certified and you do ATP training, then probably your application is a 2-click. You just say yes, I want to do it, submit. Yeah. And it may,
Okay.
because you don't have to do anything yourself.
Okay. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay, so the question is coming. I am PMP certified. Does obtaining PMI-ACP certification add additional value to my profile? So as I said, this is something, a specific answer you need to see looking at your surrounding environment. Yeah, that's there. But the way PMI-ACP is branded, it is showing that you are showing depth in Agile. When I do a PMP, I show that I have a sufficient understanding of, if I have done a PMP 2021 onwards, I'm not talking about people who did PMP before 2021. 2021 onwards, PMP certified people, they show that I have a good understanding of Agile and predictive lifecycle both, but at a managerial level. When I am doing PMI ACP, I am showing that I am having an understanding at a depth level. So if you see, there is a possibility of me working as a product owner or supporting the product owner, or me working as a some amount of agile coaching role. Yeah, if you see that, that's how the PMP certified people coming to us. The people who are doing agile coaching or a product owner role at some extent, they will add PMI ACP on top of PMP. Again, my observation, but that's something you need to see. I explained the messaging which is coming from PMI. Yeah, so 2024, it means you had a overall understanding. If I see on a social media, yeah, I see majority of the people who are doing PMI ACP are the one who did PMP in the last 1.5 year. Yeah, I see that count pretty often. That's another case. Good number of people could not make it in a first attempt. Yeah, even after doing PMP. So you can check on the various Reddit forms and all. Yeah, you know where to find them, and you will see. I did PMP and I thought PMI ACP is going to be very easy, but it is not. Yeah, that conversation you will find it very often on a social media. Yeah. So the point I'm trying to make is that don't assume the amount of learning of Agile you did for PMP is enough. You need to go more detail because it's a specialized certificate. Good. Yeah. So PMP versus PMI ACP done, and the eligibility criteria done. Yeah. So I get to the content outline, and which is again building on top of everything. Yeah. We are getting the details. I click here. Yeah, you all can click here as well. Yeah, I'm putting this link again in the chat in case you want to follow it again. Yeah, so that you know that this is a public URL. And here I click and say this is the exam content outline for PMI ACP. Now, this is something, one of the question came is, has it changed recently? So this is something PMI has made applicable from November 2024 onwards. So yes, it has changed. Now, in the modified PMI ACP exam content outline, we have 4 domains: mindset, leadership, product, and delivery. The way you see the content outline, they are trying to give you a competency towards agile coaching, towards Scrum Master, and towards product owner. They are mixing all 3 and trying to make a content. The mindset and leadership, these 2 tasks are more focusing on agile coach kind of role. You need to have that understanding. Whereas a delivery domain is more focused on the area which is coming towards Scrum Master role. The product domain is focusing on more towards the person who might be doing product ownership kind of role. So as I said, that PMI thinks this role might be merged many a time. People might be doing many things. There could be one guy who is a project manager as well as an agile coach. So PMI ACP right thing for him because he will understand all the aspects. Or at some point in time, you might be getting into a product ownership support role or doing a product ownership. Then probably you want to add PMI ACP to you so that you are ready there. So it's a mixing of all three. And actually that makes the content little heavy because it's too much. When I talk to my fellow trainers who have been teaching Scrums and Kanban and Scaled Agile for a while, and when they go through this exam content outline, this is too much. Yeah, this is too much. And some of you who have given the exam, maybe you know that it is too much. Yeah, it is really a too much content. But I think that's the value, and that's what they are trying to push from a PMI perspective. Now, in a mindset, you can find the more detail here. There is a distribution of exam percentage. Mindset will be 28, leadership will be 25, product is 18, and delivery is 24. And then there are tasks. So these are the things which will get tested in the exam. So mindset focuses on you should have an experimental mindset, you should have an agile mindset. The things like you should be using the complexity frameworks. That complex adaptive system should be your expertise area. You should not Can-Win framework. You should not Stacy framework. You should be able to identify the importance of how each complexity system theory works. You should be able to use agile suitability filters. You understand when to use agile, when not to use agile, and that kind of stuff, usually which are associated with agile coach role. Usually, I'm not saying all the time. So that kind of topics are covered when you are focusing on mindset part of it. Then you get into creating the right team environment, which is a leadership role in a way. So it focuses on Scrum Master as well as to Agile Coach kind of role, helping and creating high-performing team, ensuring that we have a self-organizing team and incorporating Agile values at the team level. Yeah. So, and then they also focus on the inter-team coordination. So little bit touch on scaling as well. It is not one agile team topic. They're saying, what if you have a multiple agile team and you need to integrate with them and take it forward. So that kind of things are added. So these are little bit depth added since November 2024 update. Yeah, one of you asked that has it changed? Such kind of depth was not there in the previous content. Then transparency, more or less the same thing, information radiator and all those things, co-located team. Now, good amount of distributed team, virtual team, and is added, and some amount of AI uses for knowledge management also has been added. Yeah, so that's there. A good amount of content on psychological safety. Many a time, people who are giving the exam, this task is usually going low performer for them. Yeah. So why? Because it is difficult to even appreciate and understand the whole aspects of it. But this is an important aspect which PMI wants to promote. Again, for agile coaches and Scrum Masters are the right target. And focusing on smart feedback loop, that's usual thing. Embracing change is usual though, but it's an agile mindset part of it. Then the leadership topic is basically if someone read a book named Agile Coaching Agile Teams, yeah, or a Agile Coach kind of profile, then the leadership topic will be taken care. Yeah. So leadership topic is basically focusing on how do I empower team, how do I facilitate problem solving, how do I facilitate knowledge sharing, how do I promote agile mindset in a day-to-day working, how do I create shared vision, how do I facilitate conflict management as a facilitator, coach, and enabler. That part will be taken care in the leadership space. Now, some of you might have studied this in the Scrum Master or Advanced Scrum Master class or ICP ACC class if you have done Agile Coaching certification. If you have done Agile Coaching certification, the leadership topic should look familiar to you. But the only difference here is here it will get tested in the exam also. When you do Advanced Scrum Master or ICP ACC, it is not something which is getting tested. You get introduced to these concepts, but it is not something which you prove yourself in the exam setup. But here you have to do it. So that's a leadership topic. When you go to product, it's like a relatively light, but focusing on ability to refine backlog, ability to release planning, ability to do visualization of your overall release and roadmap, and ensuring that you focus on MVP, incremental delivery, benefit hypothesis, those kind of, and track matrices. The matrices like NPS, tracking the matrices like CSAT survey, Nico chart, and matrices which are focusing on value delivery. So they in the content, you also find what could be a matrix which a product owner may track for app development, what kind of outcome metrics a product owner can possibly track in the website development. Those kind of things are also included product. Yeah. So you are getting the insight, and probably that also makes you clear when I go for PMP, that much matrix for product ownership is not there. The maximum thing you need to know what is release planning, what is story, and what kind of story mapping you produce. These three concepts we teach in PMP, not beyond that. How do you really write story? How do you split story? How do you identify user persona out of it? How do you identify some set of stories going into MVP? How do you create MVP? Those things are not in PMP. The definition of MVP is there, but creation of MVP or competency to create MVP will not come in the PMP exam. Again, I just take an opportunity to talk about the previous conversation. So that's a product domain. And then delivery domain. Delivery domain, most of you will find familiar if you are doing a Scrum Master job. The major focus of delivery domain is matrices. So in the exam, you will see a burn down chart. You need to interpret it. They have spent good time on cumulative flow diagram. So probably that cycle time, lead time, throughput. So those kind of various ways of working, you should have be familiar with value stream mapping kind of matrices as well. You should be familiar with Scrum kind of matrices as well. So they will talk about all combination of Scrum and Kanban matrices, and that's the topic we need to focus on. They have a good focus on value stream mapping and ensuring that we focus on improving the flow and visualization. Yeah, so that will be your delivery part. Hopefully, this gives you an understanding what is the content of PMI-ACP. Now I want to focus on how do we prepare for it. But if you have a question related to what is the content of PMI-ACP, we can discuss that. Anyone can unmute and speak. Yeah, your time.
Saket, in metrics part, what all are the metrics you are going to covering in that? That's because as a
Okay.
project manager, Scrum Masters, both are it's important metrics. So because
If I just give a little briefing, so in our live class, we use PMI material. And PMI has a workbook for all these three topics. Yeah.
okay.
So I show you the delivery workbook photo, maybe directly rather than I give an answer. So delivery workbook is something, a delivery domain workbook. The delivery domain workbook is a 200 pages one, and you have a mindset also. It's a little elaborated workbooks. And I hope my screen is visible. So I keep showing. Yeah. So we go down just to share that what is expected. So they talk about working software is definitely a first matrix. Then they teach what is NPS score. They help you to understand how to calculate NPS score. That's how one matrix came in. Then you focus and go further. I'm just skipping the things a little bit in between. There are a lot of stories and experiences which are explained here, which help us in developing the right mindset to answer the questions. Yeah, that's one of the thing, because one of the person asked, I find difficult to answer the question in the exam. In your workbook, there are a lot of case studies, examples, and those examples play a critical role to answer the situational based question in the exam. This is something made by PMI. So if you want to improve your performance in the exam, do read the whole digital workbook. Just don't focus on the high level topics. Do read the case studies. So that's one of the tip to get things done. Now, little bit they talk about leading indicator, lagging indicator, and all those stuff. Then definitely burn down chart, usual burn up chart will come. Cumulative flow diagram will come multiple places. That's another thing. Then there is a story about agile matrices. How do you select? What do you do? How do you find out simple and other things? So they give a little context studies, and they talk about there is a possibility of predictive life cycle matrices also. Little bit they explain us. And that's a case study. And then go further, and they are saying, metrics depending upon various audiences. So you have seen basically the Scrum matrices till now. And then they also show that matrices maybe need to be rolled up. Yeah, it is not only at a team level. So they try to show that team to program, program to portfolio. So you should understand how to do a roll up of matrices rather than just focusing on. So that becomes a little bit a mindset of a agile coach or a project manager, not at a team level things. So here they try to give you a little bit of outcome matrices also. You can say that if you are working on a data warehousing, probably you will track time to market using these things. You will be tracking your stakeholder satisfaction using these things, and you might be tracking quality using these things. So they try to give you a little context as well, that matrices are not same everywhere. So for example, stakeholder satisfaction in a mobile development could be the session length, yeah, maybe the user retention, maybe time in app, maybe lifetime value of your customer. So those kind of things they introduce. You can say, guys, just don't think about burn down chart. These are outcome matrices as well. So that's another area. And this way, somewhere we will see that there is a Kanban matrices. So you have a Scrum matrices, then they talk about putting it and putting into various formats, the various case studies to understand how to interpret these matrices. And at the later stage, you will find the focus on value stream. So here you start seeing the cumulative flow diagram further, and there is somewhere throughput, cycle time, lead time matrices as well. Yeah. So overall, this is something you can expect when, yeah, it's a 200-page content. I'm just going till 76, but that's the idea. Hopefully it gives an idea.
Yeah, I got it.
Great. And
Thank you.
that's the value. Thanks to this question, what I showed you, how can one possibly prepare for exam? Yeah, that's the further thing. So if you enroll with PMI authorized training provider, yeah, which is PM representative of PMI, we are one of them. There are many others as well. Then they will put you at a PMI website. They will connect you directly to the PMI. And from there, you will get these workbooks. There is a workbook on, say, mindset. It has around 247 pages, which will be explaining all the ideas of exam content outline in detail with some examples as well. There are some case studies which will be presented there. And similarly, we have a leadership workbook of 166 pages. Then we have a product workbook, which I think lightweight. So I have added my own product workbook on top of it for my clients. That's a 123 pages. And then you have a delivery workbook. What I can personally say is, if someone goes through this content, they definitely develop a good competency to pitch in for the role of Agile Coach, Agile Project Manager, good amount of product ownership, not much. Product ownership, I say a little bit weak in the workbook, and I have added a little bit more content for that. But for coaching, Scrum Master role and project management, this content puts a good case. Yeah. So if you get this content, you are good for those roles. And that's the value I see, not just a PMI-ACP as a certificate. You start knowing all those jargons. You have a perspective of outcome matrices. You have a perspective of leading indicators. And it is something you prepare in depth, not at a superficial level. So many people who are unable to make PMI-ACP exam pass in their first attempt, the problem is they were not preparing at a depth level. They understand burn down chart, but may lack a skill to interpret burn down chart and see a trend and interpret it in the multiple choice option. What is this burn down chart? They may understand that what is user story, but may not be able to find out what is a good user story, yeah, out of many available. So we need to, unlike the previous PMI-ACP exam, the new PMI-ACP exam goes in little depth. But if we cover this workbook contents, then that depth has been communicated to you. Yeah, that's there. If you enroll with us, we have a little additional material as well, other than PMI's material. We make sure that you get a video content as a self-learning tool. And in the live class, I will be teaching the PMI material using slides, so that you cover the whole digital workbook in the live class. And as a learning, we make sure that you have a good fundamentals of Scrum, if not there. So we give you a Scrum videos. The major focus I put is Kanban understanding, because many times people understand Scrum well, but they need to understand Kanban as a topic rather than directly jump to a PMI-ACP content. So we give them a good understanding of how do we understand value stream and Kanban well. And then we also have a specific content which is focusing on various topics in depth before even you go to a class. We have a book called PMI Agile Practice Guide. It's a PMI booklet. We have a video content for that. We have a special content talking about how to work with the requirement. We have a special content talking about how to do estimation and planning, explaining you in detail, leadership topic, metrics topic as a pre-learning. And then we have a lot of sample resources also, because we try to make you as a Scrum Master, Agile Coach, how possibly you can see a project charter, team charter, user persona, how do you do a sprint planning, something which you can do directly use. So there is a facilitation guide for sprint planning, daily scrum, sprint review, retrospective, backlog refinement. Then you have a team level assessment. You do a team level health checks, how possibly you can do. We give you some of the example of doing team health check, which is another topic. The definition of ready, definition of done example, some important document to play with the flow, and those kind of things are also included. We have additional booklets, which is, as I said, about the requirement management, since I don't like their booklet much. So I have created a detailed my own booklet to show you from vision to release content. And then there is a case study I have prepared where I start with user persona, and I try to show how possibly you can work on it. I just show it in a way. So just to show, it is just not about making you pass. So here I made a small case study where I teach you, how do we handle it. So this is a overall document which help us in understanding, what kind of roadmap we will fit and how do we take it forward. So overall, we create a roadmap and we take the examples there. So this case study and a workbook has been added here. So this one is a workbook, and similarly we have a case study. So this is something we do in order to augment your learning, so that you are not limited to what you see in the digital workbook. Our idea is, with our learning and digital workbook, we make you ready for Agile Coach, Scrum Master, and Product Owner roles. Yes, as I said, we are just teaching you. Your experience definitely play a role. Your interest definitely play a role. But at least we make you aware about those terms, jargons, and definitions of it, and at a sufficient depth. So if you want to build further in it, you can do it. Certification definitely gets done, but it has a further value if you focus on our learning content. Now, from a certification perspective, the major game plays it with the mock test. So we do have a 5 full-length mock test, and there are 50-50 questions test, which we have created. Now, PMI's own program, if you go to a study hall, they give you one mock test. We have given 140 question in the YouTube video for free. Anyone can watch it. So if you are preparing for PMI-ACP, do watch my free YouTube videos. There are 140 questions with a great explanation. Usually we are seeing a lot of comments on our YouTube where people are just watching and getting certified. So you can read the comments also. You get an understanding how people got a rank. But incidentally, many people are not scoring good in all 4. The most of the comment says in a PMP, I got all 3 areas above target. Here I have a 3 above target, 1 below target, or 1 needs improvement. So you will see that kind of comment frequently on our YouTube space. So we help you with the help of brushing up and improving your learning with the help of practice test. So we have a 5 full-length practice test and 50-50 questions test for each domain to make you ready in alignment with new exam content outline. Go ahead, Guraj.
How many questions are there in the exam?
120. So you have a 120 questions, 3 hours as a duration, and you do it 2 set of 60-60. So after 60 question, you can take a 10 minutes break. Break is not included in the 3 hours time.
Okay, two sets, 60-60.
60-60. So you, overall 120 questions, you take a 60, then you have a break for 10 minutes. And then you go to the next set and you do another 60 questions. Now, after this, I'm open for any questions. I know some of you want to talk about your preparation questions also. But before that, whatever I have explained, if you have a question on that, we can talk. Else we talk about someone who is already giving exam, mock, then we can do. I will try to assist you to get certified soon. Here.
Saket, I had a question.
Please.
So now the questions are multiple choice questions, right? Or do we have to do some sort of, some calculations and those things? So we don't have those kind of questions, right?
Out of 120 questions, you can assume 100 questions will be multiple choice with a single choice, right?
Okay.
Minimum 100. There could be few questions where you have a more than one choice, right? The question will indicate you need to select more than one choice. There could be few. There could be few questions which are diagram based. So you have a chart in front of you, or you have a table in front of you. Some email has been received and this data is about your project health, or this is the customer, something is telling. So there is a depiction. And based on the depiction, you need to interpret or sometimes point out something. We call it hotspot. So maybe you need to point out that in this iteration, the things were going wrong. But there are few. It is not like 20 questions like that, maybe 2 to 5 maximum. Yeah, 2 is the usual number we see where they see these kind of diagram. That's the problem is people who can't make it in a first attempt, they only remember these complicated questions. They will say, there were so many diagrams, there were so many long questions. There are long questions, yes, but there are short questions also, which you will get in the exam. But yeah, this is how it is. There could be 1 or 2 match the pair questions also, where you have a definition one side, you have something here, you need to just do a matching. But majority will be multiple choice with a single choice, right? Situation oriented question, and we need to choose best out of the 4 choices available.
Okay. Thank you, Saket.
Good. Anything else before probably we'll start talking about more about the questions? Yeah, here.
Scenario-based questions is like as in PMP questions, or it's going to be
So see, the people, it's more or less like PMP question in a way, but people who are giving PMI-ACP exam after PMP preparation, they find the PMI-ACP question in more depth. This is, I'm saying, on the basis of my social media comment reading. We don't have our direct experience, our client PMP certified doing PMI-ACP as of now, yeah, because it's a recent thing, it's a sample data. But people who were preparing before using 21 contact hours and they go for PMI-ACP on a social media, they tell, it was too deep, it was not straightforward, multiple choice was looking very close. So it might be that their understanding of Agile was not that deep. It could be that reason also. The another thing is the scenarios are little big. Yes, sometimes you get a table in the question, sometimes you get a diagram in the question, and yeah, there could be a big length questions also which are there. What we try to do, our 140 questions which are available on YouTube, they are expected to show you a good amount of complexity which one will see in the exam. And we can say it with little confidence because when you see the comment on our 140 questions, different places, people are sharing who have passed the exam, and they are also sharing what they felt when they were giving the exam. So if you are trying to see what possibly will face in the exam, please check our 140 questions in the YouTube, or we also have in our iZenBridge website. We have made a 120 question free test for you. You can also check that. Yeah, but it's a 120 on a YouTube. We have a 140. The questions are same. So the same YouTube questions are there on the iZenBridge site as well. But the difference is they come as an exam there rather than explanation. So you can also try out. If you are in a hurry and you don't have a time to watch video one by one, then you can go to this particular place. Yeah, somewhere in resources, and then you go to PMP test, and then you have a PMI test, and then here you can find a PMI-ACP mock exam. So you have a 120 question exam which can help you to judge. I usually tell, if you are doing this exam first time, you should score 80%. Yeah, if you are scoring 80% plus, then I say that you are good for exam. Provided you have not watched my video. If you have watched my video, then you should be scoring 90%. Yeah, because you are doing it after understanding each question. Yeah? But without watching, if you score 80%, then you should be doing good in the exam. Now, why 80? Because see, our exam questions are pretty clear. I can't make a question where nobody knows what could be the choice. Yeah. But some of the PMI real exam questions are where even it is very difficult to say what is the right answer. Yeah, there are few means there could be around 10 questions like that. So we want to be ready that at least where things are clear, we choose the right options. Now, why those kind of questions are there in the PMI exam? Maybe they are test question, they will remove it over a period of time, maybe. Or maybe since it's a psychometric test, it is not about right and wrong. They want to see how you judge things, and probably they have some logic around it. Yeah. So I don't try to equate that. I focus on what is clear cut. There is a big scenario, but we need to understand there should be a logical reason of reaching to a right answer. And because of that, I tell for my questions, you need to target little more. So 90% if you have watched my video, and 80% if you have not watched my video, then you should be good. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah, which can help you in getting certified? Yes, I am running a class. I am starting one class next weekend. It's a special one because it runs in the daytime. Usually I do morning and evening, but this one I am running like 9 a.m. till 6:30. It's a long duration class, and I will be using the PMI material, and we have the pre-recorded videos which are there to help you to get ready for the class and later on, and a lot of material so that you can play with it well. Yeah, so you can find the link as Kumkum has shared in the chat, or you can connect with us. We can help you in getting things done. Now, if I see some of you may have already applied for PMI-ACP, may have already tried it once, yeah, then we can have a case-by-case conversation. Maybe you are not thinking of enrolling to a live class, or maybe you want to have some part of it. So we can figure that out, yeah, if you have a special need and if you need an assistance. But if you feel after watching our 140 videos, you should be able to reconnect, oh, what mistake I did in the exam. If I have taken the exam and I'm watching my videos of 140 question, you should start seeing and start remembering, oh, this was there in the exam and I think I was doing this thing wrong. If that thing is happening, then you probably will be able to navigate yourself. You don't need any other assistance. But if you watch those 140 question and you still don't consider, I don't know what was there in the exam and I'm a little confused about what is happening here, then probably you need more assistance. Then my recommendation would be that change your content or exam preparation material. Else there is a possibility there are people who are not succeeding in the second attempt also. So don't go the same preparation and do the second attempt. Do some different preparation for the second attempt. Yeah. So from my side, this is what I wanted to tell. But if you have anything specific, we can talk.
So, Saket, another
Go ahead.
questions.
Yeah,
You
please.
were talking about the YouTube video, right? So that is like kind of an updated version of all the 140 questions.
Yes. All are mapped to the new ECO. So each question will show you which task this question belongs to. Yeah. It is not like I'm saying it is updated. No. Each question will say which domain,
Okay.
which task in a domain. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
it is there.
And so in the YouTube, I have to search it by iZen or I have to search it by your name. How do I get to that?
Whichever way you can search, you can just search
Okay.
it by iZen PMI-ACP as well. But I am sharing
Okay.
the playlist URL directly in the chat. So you can just keep this URL handy with you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's a URL. And probably you should get an idea that how this thing work. Yeah. So this is a URL available. And you can also read the comments. If you have a disagreement about a particular question, put into a YouTube comment only. I usually reply fast. Yeah, you will get my justification. But again, I don't expect anyone agreeing to me 100%. You may have a disagreement, but this disagreement should be around 10% only. If you have a 30% disagreement, then you have something not working right. But there could be out of 140 questions, you may not agree with 3 answers with me. Perfectly okay. Don't try to think like me. It's okay. You can have a difference of opinion. You will get certified. No problem. Yeah. But yeah, I will tell you why I think like that. You can ask me in the YouTube. I will explain it. Good. So looks like we are settled now and we have a sufficient information. If that's the case, we can conclude this session. Thank you for attending. If you have a query, connect with us. You can put the comment in a YouTube videos if you are not clear about any question. You can connect with me on LinkedIn as well, and my team will be anyway connected to you if you have any requirement of enrolling for the program. As I said, we are starting the program in the coming weekend, not this one. So April 1st weekend, that is where I am doing it. And I'm sharing my LinkedIn URL also, yeah, profile URL. So you can follow or connect me if you feel that can add some value, because I keep sharing about PMI-ACP on LinkedIn as well. I am right now running a series where I want to talk about each task of the ECO. So 2 presentations already done on my YouTube, on my LinkedIn. There will be more coming in, 24 tasks. I will explain each one of them. So if you follow me on LinkedIn, you probably get some refresher about that. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Thank you for attending. And if you have any query, we are here. Just connect back with us. Yeah. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Saket.
Bye. Bye.